Welcome to the start of the 31 days of Halloween. That's right, it's October 1st, and that means it's time for the 31 days of 31 horror game ranking videos. Before we get started with the first one, I do want to go over about what to expect this month. Every single day this month at 5 p.m. Eastern, I'll be posting a new ranking video that's based on some sort of horror game topic. If you want to see what those topics are, I recommend you go and watch the trailer, which showcases the 31 topics I'll be covering this month. I'll have it in the description and at the end of today's video. Also, if you want to stay up to date on the 31 days of Halloween presented by yours truly, I also recommend that you subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you don't miss any of the horror game goodness that you're about to get this month. Anyway, my name is Ruben with Nurse Games, and these are 7 incredible brand new horror games releasing this month just in time for Halloween, so let's get to it. Number 1, Echoes of the Living. So I want to start off this list by first thanking Moonglint, the studio behind the upcoming survival horror game inspired by Resident Evil Echoes of the Living. Not only did they confirm with me that they are still planning on releasing this game in early access featuring Liam's campaign sometime this month, hence why I'm featuring it on today's list, but they also provided some additional never before scenes to use in the B-roll of this video, including the first look at lore cinematics in the game.
Mayor Wilhelm's manor. Forget about it.
Much appreciated, Moonglint. Anyways, Echoes of the Living is a love letter to classic survival horror, specifically the 2002 remake of Resident Evil and even the OG Resident Evil 2. The game follows two protagonists caught in the middle of a city during a zombie outbreak, pits them against overwhelming odds, features additional protagonists to play as, tons of weapons, and of course your old school fixed camera angles style complete with modern graphics. Like I said, love letter to the classics. As someone that has played just about every single demo this two-person development team has released over the years, I already know that I'm gonna love this game from start to finish. I mean, I fell in love with this game the moment I played their first demo. Now technically the entire game won't release this month, as only Liam's campaign will release in October, with Laura's campaign releasing sometime later this year, I believe. But honestly, I don't care. I'm all for Echoes of the Living, and if I can get at least Liam's campaign before Halloween, then I'm a very, very happy camper. Number 2, Deathground. As of yesterday, it's been confirmed that Deathground will be heading to early access on October 6th of this month. As a fan of both dinosaur horror and alien isolation, Deathground looks to be a beautiful mixture of both in this 3-player co-op horror game in which you and some friends can take on a handful of different dinosaurs with very limited resources in the hopes of escaping with your life. It's a stealth horror game that will feature many different levels, which also means that the combat is a last resort situation only. The game looks like a lot of fun, and the dinosaurs look absolutely horrifying, which is great because honestly, I've been needing a really good dinosaur horror game lately. Sure, it's not my Dino Crisis, but I can tell that this game is going to be a lot of fun to play with my boys, so definitely expect me to stream this later this month at some point. And from the motion sensor to the AI of the dinosaurs, this game looks really similar to Alien Isolation, but with dinosaurs, and I'm all about it. Number 3, by Sweet Carole. The second week of October will be the battle of horror puzzle platformers, as we'll be getting not one, but 2 highly anticipated games in this subgenre. The first one is by Sweet Carole. This game takes heavy inspiration from Disney animation, such as Snow White and Alice in Wonderland, and gives it a dark and gloomy tone. By Sweet Carole specifically reminds me of the Creepy Tales series, which is another horror puzzle platformer franchise that explores a darker take on our favorite fairy tales. The music we've experienced and the atmospheres we've seen in this dark yet beautiful world and By Sweet Carole has me extremely excited for this game. And the best part, By Sweet Carole will be available on all modern consoles on October 9th, 2025. Number 4, Little Nightmares 3. The other horror puzzle platformer comes out the following day on October 10th, and it's from a beloved franchise called Little Nightmares. That's right, we are finally getting the 3rd installment of the Little Nightmares franchise, and as someone that's a new fan of the series, I'm extremely excited. The previous games of the series explored some pretty dark themes within a dark apocalyptic world in which the adults have become disturbing creatures feeding on children. Yikes. However, the 3rd game will follow 2 new protagonists, and for the first time ever, it'll feature 2-player co-op. 2 things to know. 1, you only need 1 copy for you and your friend to play, as the Little Nightmares 3 offers a friend pass for the 2nd player. And 2, there is a demo available right now on Steam, although personally, I haven't played it yet, so I can't really comment on how good or how bad that demo was. Mostly because I've just been really busy, but also because I'm trying to hold off on experiencing the entire game with my wife on October 10th, since I already pre-ordered the game anyway. Little Nightmares 3 will also be available on all modern consoles too. Number 5, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Here's a game that I know next to nothing about since I never played the first game, but Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, wow, that's a mouthful, will be releasing on October 21st. This is a horror RPG essentially that puts you into the shoes of a vampire who has all sorts of abilities and powers. In true RPG fashion, you can upgrade and change your abilities and powers to build your character around your own playstyle. Now, while I haven't played the first game, I do know that there are some hardcore fans out there that are really excited about this game as they've been waiting forever for this game actually. Yeah, this game has been delayed multiple times, so it's really awesome to see that this game is finally releasing. Anyways, A Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 releases later this month on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Number 6, Tormented Souls 2. The game that I'm most excited about alongside Echoes of the Living that releases this month is Tormented Souls 2. Considering the fact that the first game is still to this day one of my favorite classic survival horror games, it shouldn't be too shocking to see my anticipation for Tormented Souls 2 to be through the roof. I mean, the first game had some of the most challenging puzzles, an iconic setting, and everything else that a fan of classic survival horror games could possibly want. Actually, most people like to compare Tormented Souls to Resident Evil Remake, which in my opinion is a massive compliment. As for the sequel, the demo is available now, and after playing it, I'm happy to say that it feels and plays just like the original game, but with improvements to the visuals and set pieces. Yeah, Tormented Souls 2 is going to be a massive W for fans of the classics, and I can't wait to get my hands on it on October 23rd on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Number 7, Flesh Made Fear. We couldn't talk about horror games releasing in time for Halloween without mentioning one that is scheduled to release on Halloween. Flesh Made Fear is another love letter to classic survival horror as it's heavily inspired by old school Resident Evil. You can play as one of two protagonists who are sent to investigate and capture a researcher who started to perform disturbing experiments on citizens of a small town. Upon arrival, you find out that most of the town, as expected, has been changed into, well, zombies. Most of the mechanics, visuals, and gameplay elements are clearly inspired by the classic survival horror games we grew up with, but also features other mechanics as well, like the ability to dual wield daggers and stab the hell out of zombies. Anyway, Flesh Made Fear will release on Halloween on PC. But yeah, that does it for this episode of Nerd Space Games. Hit up the comments and let me know which of these horror games are you most excited for. For me, it's between Echoes of the Living and Tormented Souls 2, as I love those classic survival horror games with modern graphics. They both give me Resident Evil Remake vibes, and that's one of my favorite games of all time. Also, be sure to let me know what other horror games are releasing this month that you're excited about that I didn't mention in my video. There's actually a lot of them coming out, and I'm sure someone will appreciate you shouting out even more games to play this Halloween. But if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more survival horror content. Also, leave a like on today's video if you enjoyed today's topic. But thanks for watching, and as always, I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Nerd Space Games. Take care.